So the process of shifting from this layout, cross-tab layout, to a list or data layout is called unpivoting. And in this video, I'm going to show you 4 quick and easy ways to get this done to make your models easier. To use Power Query to unpivot, simply select any cell in the table, go to the Data menu, and from Table or Range. And Power Query detects the table, simply click OK, and it imports it. From here, we need to simply select the 2 category rows and right-click and go Unpivot Other Columns. And that's simply Power Query has converted to a list layout for us. Our last step is to simply check the data types. The first 2 are text types, and that's fine. And perhaps the dates we need to convert to date. And finally, the amounts is a whole number. That seems to be fine. Finally, we check our load options. And over here, you've got a variety of options. We can create a table, add to the data model, which is what I'd like to do, or you could do pivot charts or tables. So let's simply move this to the existing sheet and click OK. And Power Query has done the job and converted things for us. Now, this works pretty well, except the problem is that when you have multiple tables to convert, you'll have to build a query for each table, and you'll have to remember to refresh each time. And that's where our next solution comes in, where we use like a function, a simple singular input with settings, and that can do the job for you. No refreshing or anything of the sort. So let's dive into those methods. To unpivot this table, I have written a custom VBA function, otherwise known as macros, a macro function you can call it. So to access it, all you do is you type in V and unpivot. V for VBA and unpivot. I put a V beforehand in case Microsoft invents an unpivot function and includes it, which I think they might. So the V will ensure that this function will still work in future models that you write. So it takes 2 inputs. The first one is to the range itself, which is a fairly obvious one. So I'm going to input that. The second input it takes is the amount of static columns. Now, in this case, we want location and product to remain static. So it's 2 columns. So we put that in. And then where you close, that's unpivoted. And it's as simple as that. So the advantage of this is that you don't need to write a query and remember to refresh it. And it's quick and easy. It's like a formula input. Now, what I like about this function that I've designed, if I want to extend the rows to make this more scalable, let's take it to say 100 rows, it automatically range trims for you. It removes the 0 rows and it keeps your table austere, as it were. Nothing unnecessary in it. In fact, if I want to extend it to make it scalable for columns, let's just take it to column K, it does exactly the same. As you can see, the table still remains austere or self-adjusted, as it were. So this is a VBA function. And to install it, simply just refer to the download in the link here for the exercise file and you'll get the code. So you don't need to know how this function works and understand VBA coding. So to install it, simply go to your developer tab. Now, if you don't have a developer tab, simply just right-click anywhere in the menu and go to Customize menu. And it's a simple setting. You'll see the main formula menus or will have a developer here, and that developer is likely unticked. So all you need to do is tick it, and that'll install for you. Then simply go into the developer section. You go to Visual Basic, and then one needs to insert a module where you can copy code into. And you can see I've got 2 modules here, and this module has the V pivot function inside it. You can see it's a little bit of code. Simply just insert that, and there you go. You've got yourself a running solution. So what's great about this, of course, is that it doesn't need a query that needs refreshing, and you don't need to write a Power Query solution for every single little table. You can simply use this formula. The problem with this, though, is it requires VBA. So if you want to share your workbooks on the web or something like that, macros aren't friendly for that. And a lot of people don't like to enable macros. So that's why the next solution we're going to have a look at, which is equally as effective as this, if not better, improves on that. And let's dive right into that myth. So to unpivot this table here, I have written a lambda function. So to access that, all you need to do is go X and unpivot. So I've called it X unpivot again in case Microsoft invents unpivot function so that this will still work. Like the previous solution, its first argument it takes is a range input. So let's put in a range. And the second is exactly the same, two, the static columns. In this case, we need two, one for location, one for product. And when we put that in, there is our solution. Same as the VBA function. But if I want to extend it and make it scalable, let's extend it to 100 rows and I press enter. Unfortunately, this solution here, as you'll see, will have some zeros at the end. It doesn't automatically range trim like the VBA function. So to solve that, all you need to do is trim the range. And the symbol for that is simply a dot. If you put that in place, you'll see it's trimmed out the rows now. And similarly, you could also extend the columns. Let's take it to column K, and there you go. You'll see it's still trimmed. So it functions exactly the same as the VBA function, all of the advantages. And this can work on non-macro enabled documents, so you can share these type of solutions with users that are reluctant to use VBA or collaborate on the web. So to install it, all you do, Lambda is a named calculation simply. Go to your named manager and you'll see here I have a Lambda function called the X unpivot function. And one simply needs to copy this formula in there and you can name it whatever you like. So that's again in the download that is in the description and you'll have access to that. So this is tremendous solution. In fact, this is my preferred one. However, if I lose this Lambda function, or I lose the VBA code, I don't know where it is, and I don't want to set up a Power Query. What will be very useful is to know how to do this with formulas. And that's what I'm going to show you in my final solution over here. So let's dive right into that. Pivot solution, simple formulas in Excel. And yes, that is possible in case you're wondering. So you can see I've already put the solution in place here, and I'm not necessarily going to go over the formulas. I've put the three types of formulas on the right over here. Please refer to our article where I discuss how these formulas work. So I will only allude to the value column, which takes a function called the two-column function and essentially combines multiple columns into a single column. And this result inputs the other two types of formulas, one type for rows and one type for columns. And this works equally well compared to the VBA function or the Lambda function, or for that matter, also Power Query. So this is great to unpivot information. But what if I need to unpivot multiple tables? And they have different amount of columns. And I also then would like to combine all of those to throw them together in a single model. So unpivoting and combining sheets is quite a challenge. You might say, you think this is impossible. Not really. And that's the topic of our next video where I'll show you in detail how to do this. So thanks for staying to the end. And if you enjoyed the content, please remember to like and subscribe to receive notification of future content and information. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next one.